Hello, how's everyone doing? My name is Julia Genoveva, and we are back with another episode of It's Gonna Get Artsy. I'm so happy to see you guys, and I cannot believe that this is our 12th episode from season one. It just like time just flew by. And I am here with my fabulous co-host Gus Ferrari. How you doing, Gus?
I'm surviving my Monday, but yes, I'm okay.
I know Mondays are rough. I think
Excited.
all around.
It is gonna get artsy, yes, because Elaine is coming.
Yes, so I'm really happy, and I thank you so much to Paul Fracalvieri and Mary Sheridan who are here, and we are going to talk about our full stage production of Elaine, which opens August 22nd. It's a full-length play that I wrote, and special shout out to Alexis Tangent, who is playing Elaine. Unfortunately, she had another commitment, and she was not able to be here with us tonight. Paul and Mary, how are you guys? Are you having a crazy Monday too?
Mary, I'll let you answer that first.
Yeah, yeah, just busy but good busy.
Yeah, good busy. Yeah, I like good busy for sure. Um,
Yeah.
so so to start off, I guess I'll give a little background on Elaine, which is a play that I actually wrote 12 years ago. And I think, Paul, you have been part of it this entire time. You've been always played
Yeah,
Charles.
I believe so. Yes, yes, yeah. I'm very, very grateful and thankful to have had that opportunity in all its iterations, right? From the very beginning and to see how it's really grown and blossomed. So thank you, Julia. Thank you,
Thank
guys.
you. Thank you. So yeah, so over the years, I've made it a little bit longer, added certain things, but then as of last year, I think I was talking to the cast, we were just hanging out, talking, and I had this idea to make this into a full-length play, and they were like really on board. So then I decided to go back and start expanding the play. So what you guys will see when you come and see the show are new scenes that have never been seen before. A new ending again has never been seen before. The previous scenes are still there, but they're based everything, the whole play from beginning to end is totally different. So if you saw our run of Elaine last year, scratch that as far as the writing because it's completely different. And I also added a new character, which is being played by Gus Ferrari, the role of Ricardo. So this Elaine is definitely a new full-length version of this play that you will all be seeing. And now I am so curious to talk to the cast about their roles, challenges, and maybe how do you connect with the character, if at all? And I think I'll start with Mary Sheridan first, who's playing the role of Vivian.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I have a lot in common with Vivian. I mean, she's really driven, as am I. I think she's quite introverted, as am I. She has I'm not going to give anything away, but she has a very challenging relationship with her mother, as did I. And she has a great marriage, as do I. I've never worked in fashion, but I love clothes, so I mean it's kind of fun to like think about that, what that would be like. And yeah, I mean, uh, I do have a son. He's 7, and I came to motherhood, I guess, relatively speaking, later than most people. So I had that experience of not knowing if I would ever have a kid, and then ended up having one.
Oh, wow. Amazing. Yeah, Leo is an amazing kid for sure. And now I'm going to thank you for all of those comments, Mary. Now I would like to just talk to Paul Fracalvieri about his role as Charles.
Okay, well, I think Charles is also a very, very interesting character. I think, on a professional level, Charles, being a doctor, is very hardworking. He's very dedicated, very committed to his craft. And I think he wants the best for people. He's extremely optimistic. I think both in terms of his at being a doctor and also in his own personal life, his personal journey, and in his relationship with Vivian. And on a personal note, I think Charles is kind of very level-headed, very equanimous. He kind of is a nice grounding effect to Vivian. So there's a nice balance there. You know, they're kind of foil characters in a way, but they kind of really, I think, accentuate each other's strengths. Also, I think with Charles is, I think what every woman looks for. Charles is a really great listener. So I
Mhm.
think that that's an important quality that Charles has as well. And plus, I think Charles is kind of very evolved as a character. He seems to be very magnanimous, very forgiving, in a way that maybe many people at his particular age may not have reached that level yet, where they are so forgiving and they're willing to kind of look at something and grow from it and move on, and not really hold any enmity or any acrimony about a certain situation, but just take it for what it is or what it was, and then just try and move forward with some degree of optimism. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, that's wonderful that you're saying that about Charles, because I do see him as a character, like someone who's very like, I guess, spiritual. Like he's very in touch with like his feelings and emotion, and yet
Yeah.
he's like very in control of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I think in some ways very different from perhaps maybe what you would think of as as qualities that a traditional male might have, right? Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. Thank you. That's really wonderful insight. And Mary, I also loved your insight on Vivian because yeah, she's very kind of like type A personality. And yeah, just connecting what you Mary and Paul, what you said, like they really just complement each other. I don't know if it's opposites attract or a yin to the yang, something like that. But yeah, you both have a very in the play have a very strong and happy marriage, and it just works. So that's wonderful. And now I've created a new character named Ricardo. So Ricardo is your no nonsense, straight to the point New Yorker who's gonna tell it like it is. And he is a landlord super who's the owner of the building where Elaine lives before she gets kicked out. And this is played by Gus Ferrari. Gus, do you want to tell us a little bit about your character?
Yeah, so Ricardo is pretty much that's what he is. He's a kind of like brutal honesty, kind of tell it like it is kind of person. I have a feeling Julia might have based this guy on me a little bit
I
because
did actually. I actually
I
discussed
worked
it
as a
that way.
super and I work so and I have I've been told, you know, by someone was like, you know, I don't disagree with the advice you're giving me, except that your delivery sucks. You know, and it's true. I don't kind of sugarcoat things when I have to tell people something about themselves. I do it, you know, honestly, I would never try to put anybody down. Uh, but I gotta call you on your stuff if you're really not acting correct. And Ricardo's exactly like that. And that's why I identify with this character so much. He's like that voice. It's that voice on the back of Elaine, you know, her head, where like she can push that voice away that's telling her to do the right thing, but she can't push Ricardo away. So she has to deal with me. And I'm basically the only person who like confronts her, looks her in the eye, and doesn't try to, you know, um find ways of like, oh, you know, try to lure her or swing the deal for her to act right. She just needs to act right because she does. She's a grown person, and that's why what I tell her all the time. But at the same time, Ricardo is a good person. It's he doesn't do things out of malice or negativity or just to get even with people. It's just like, you know, he's just gonna tell it like it is, because he feel. In fact, Elaine is really his dear friend via his sister. They were like childhood friends. So he's known her most of his life, most of her life, and um, he feels that being honest is the best policy with Elaine, and he's trying to help her in his own brutally honest way.
Yeah, yeah, I totally agree with you guys. Also, I think, Ricardo, even though his delivery may be like, oh, tough or too bold or something, like he really does mean well. He has good intentions. They do have a history of being childhood friends, so he really does want the best for her. And I have to say, like, each of these characters, just like to tie everything in, is kind of like living their own truth in a way. And to me, I feel like honesty is the best policy. Like, I personally do feel that way. So in a way, like, I have a little bit of my character in each one of the characters in a different way. Like, of course you never want to be rude or disrespectful, but I rather know the truth, be honest with me, like, don't lie to me. And I try to be that way as well. So I have a question for the cast, actually, like, as far as what do you think is like essentially your truth for each one of your characters? Like, if you could sum it up with like one or maybe even two words, if anyone just wants to jump in at any moment, please.
I'll go first. I think it's real straightforward. I think for Vivian, it's that like hard work pays off.
Oh, wonderful. I love that. Thank you.
I'll go next. I think forgiveness leads to growth.
Oh, that's beautiful. And I agree with that too. Oh my God, that's very, very profound. Thank you, Paul.
And I guess the words that Ricardo lives by is like, life is tough and you got to deal with it,
Yeah, yeah. Those are all great points. So I want to, Alexis is not here, but I do want to talk about her character a little bit. So Alexis Tandert is playing the role of Elaine, and I kind of want to tie it in a little bit with the synopsis of the play. So Alexis plays Elaine, and this is a character that has struggled all of her life. She's never really gotten any type of break. And one of the things that she has struggled with the most is substance abuse, alcohol. This has played throughout her whole life. She has a daughter, which is Vivian, and even as Vivian was growing up, this was part of her upbringing, unfortunately. But Elaine, she's a fighter. She doesn't give up easily, even though she is unemployed, doesn't have money, cannot pay bills. She just continues to move around, but like without any stability, like a drifter. She's in Florida. She ends up in New York. And that's how this unplanned reunion happens between mother and daughter. It doesn't go well at all. It's a huge flop, shall we say. And then time passes, things change, and I cannot really give away like what the changes are. However, all the characters, Charles, Vivian, Elaine, even Ricardo, I guess in a way too, they all like evolve and they all change. So when they meet again, things are totally different. However, this is like a huge wake up call for Elaine to finally try to do something positive with her life. And of course, it's not like, in the snap of a finger, it doesn't happen overnight, but she starts taking steps to kind of like clean up her act, put herself together. So that's pretty much Alexis's character, Elaine, in a nutshell. And Alexis said something really wonderful the other day when we were talking that, Elaine, the play Elaine is about, like, there is a light at the end of the tunnel. I totally agree with that. The themes of the play are family, forgiveness, which I know Paul mentioned, and substance abuse. And it's a personal play to me because I did grow up in that environment. So it's a little bit, tiny bit of a splash of my own life. And also another theme, which I didn't realize it in the beginning, it's the theme of the underdog, the person that you think, it's never gonna do anything with their life suddenly changes, and suddenly like things start happening to them, like good things. So yeah, so this play has all those things wrapped into one play. As far as set and staging, so we've been working on that in the rehearsal process with Lillian Salgado, who's our stage manager, and also Gus, who has been helping with stage managing, and also as a director, he's been jumping in. You know, we do have a minimal staging. However, during the transition, there are changes that, you know, I am implementing to kind of give the audience the idea of where we are, whether we're at Elaine's apartment or like Vivian and Charles's fancy, you know, Fifth Avenue apartment. So things change in between.
Yeah, and to that, I mean, as people know, if you're a fan of like off of Broadway black box theater, you have to get really creative with the space and you know, just moving a couple of pieces, even if it is the same furniture, can help people give the illusion of like time and space. And so we're trying to do that with the setting we have, which we're at the Producers Club, which is a very intimate space. So we're trying to, you know, kind of bring turn that stage into like a multi-dimensional kind of thing. And I have to say, one thing, and true to my Ricardo nature, I kind of feel like I'm kind of Julia's toughest critic in for her own, you know, just because, again, you know, I wouldn't let her put a product out there that is going to be not not regarded as her best. And so I have to say, out of all the incarnations of Elaine, this is the one that is kind of like the most the fullest, the one that has the most meat on the bones, so to speak. The short version had too many leaps of logic and of time that people had to make on their own and try to think about where is this coming from? Why this? Why that? And in this play, I think things get explained a lot more. So that brings up the realism of their situation a little bit more, because things are explained in a more in a fuller way. So there are no gaps of or places where the audience has to ask themselves, well, why doesn't she do this? Why doesn't she do that? You know, everything is addressed in this play. So I think is the one. This version, I really like it, and I'm having a blast with my character, so I can't ask for more.
Thank you, from the guy that tells it like it is. Thank you for saying that. Yeah, while I was writing it, I did kind of put myself in that mindset, like, okay, this is happening. Like, how did this person get here, and like what happened before that? And then as I was writing it, I was going to end it the way the previous version ended, but for some reason that, to me, and you'll only understand what I'm talking about if you saw, you know, last year's version versus this one, you know, that's coming up. It's a new ending, you know. Yeah, I definitely filled in a lot of gaps, answered a lot of questions, like Gus is saying, that the audience may be thinking, well, how did she get here, and why did this happen, and when did this happen? You know, I kind of try to answer that. And then like the ending that was the old ending, now it's just a scene, and like more happens. So, you know, I really wanted, from a writing point and an acting standpoint, because I'm an actor too, just see the journey of each character from beginning to, I mean, I wouldn't say the end, but to kind of a sort of a conclusion. So on that note, like for the actors, like, what are your thoughts on this new version? Do you think you have like a more of like a beginning, middle, and sort of end for your characters?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think it's beautiful how we can just start in a like calm place, and then it can get like, you know, dramatic after that.
Thank you, Mary. Thank you.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I feel there's a nice arc to the characters now. And in the short version, as we know, can become very emotionally intense, this play. And now I feel like there's some type of buildup to get to that place. And I don't feel like I have to perhaps grab for it sooner than I absolutely need to, because we're building up, we're getting to that place, right? There's more of a gamut of emotions now. And when we get to that particular climax of the play, the 11th hour, I think it's going to be even more impactful than it was, because of the fact that we're building and we're building and we're getting to that point, right? We're building
Yeah.
a theme, right? Yeah. Yeah, so that's how I feel about that. And just there's more of kind of the exposition, like you said, the rising action, the climax, and then kind of the denouement, right? Which is what all good plays need, right? And
Yeah.
we have a resolution, right? Yeah.
Right, totally. Gus, do you want to chime in on any of that?
Yeah, and I actually, we were talking about that Ricardo, because Ricardo doesn't necessarily have a journey or an evolution as a character, but he does have an arc. And I agree with Paul that, you know, one of the clever parts of the new play, the script is how Ricardo is kind of basically a vehicle for explaining the oranges, so to speak, of Elaine, why, you know, she gets to the point where she has to face a crossroads and either meet her daughter or change her life, stop this and that, whatever she's doing. I don't want to give away too much, but yeah, the character of Ricardo was cleverly placed so that he provides exposition without actually being too ex making it just contrived, where the characters just like say stuff just to inform the audience. The things that we learn about Elaine, about her past, about her addictions, and all, and even about her family that she doesn't want to accept, are through these conversations she has with Ricardo, and so that brings again an air of realism to the script.
Thank you. And now my last question to the cast is, what do you have coming up after Elaine? What are your upcoming projects?
I'll go. I am doing, so last summer, I did a production of a verse play. It's sort of like a mock play of the movie The Room, the Room of Expectations, which is like this bad movie that everyone loves. It's sort of like, yeah, it's, I mean, you have to check it out if you don't know what I'm talking about.
Well, people love to like be like, if you're an actor, you watch that and you're like, oh my God.
It's kind of amazing.
There's so
like,
much stuff to
it's a
laugh
study
at.
in how to not act. You know?
You know, yeah, I know. Go ahead. Yeah, we can talk about The Room for like a whole entire night about it, because it's so horrible. But yeah.
So my friend Michael Higgins, he wrote a verse version of it, and we did it last summer. And it's an all-female cast, and I play like two of the friends. And turns out like random people just showed up, people who like are big Room fans. So I think partly because of that, we're gonna be doing it once a month, TBD at Under St. Mark's in the East Village.
Oh, amazing. I know Michael Higgins. He is a very special, talented playwright, and he's an actor too, I believe. I believe he acts. Yeah, I've known him for years. He's a wonderful person, extremely talented. Yes, guys, please check it out. Mary will keep us posted. And I love Under St. Mark's space. That's a really cute space. Yeah. Paul, what do you have coming up?
Hey, well, you know, I kind of go in and out of the acting world, the music world, right, back and forth. So I've got some actually some music gigs coming up. I work for Hilton Hotels, and every month or so, or every couple of weeks, they do a show for their members where it's a musical theater performance, and we do retrospectives, kind of reviews based on certain artists. So we'll do like a Rodgers and Hammerstein review, a Lerner and Lowe review. The next one is a Andrew Lloyd Webber review. So So yeah, I get to do that. I get to, get paid to sing, which is something I love to do in addition to acting. So yeah.
That sounds like so much fun. It
Yeah.
sounds amazing. It sounds really good. Thank you. Gus, do you have any projects coming up?
Well, as you well know, since you're directing it, we have the play with the longest title in the world. What is it? A red umbrella in the
Crystal
bright
White
white
Snow.
crystal white snow. I should know the title. It used to be called An Umbrella in the Snow when I did it 10 years ago. But anyway, the play is still as awesome as it was the day it was written, by our dear friend Jack DeVille, who unfortunately, passed. And this was a promise to him. And I don't, it's all I can say. It's an excellent play, but we'll talk about it more when we do the Artsy installment to talk about it.
Great. Oh, you also have that other film that you
Well,
already
yeah, Jab was a film that we just wrapped this summer. I think I talked about it in the other podcast that we did, Stage Whisper. It's a very different character, where I played this kind of like not so scrupulous trainer that kind of talks a kid into taking a fight that he cannot win simply because he's trying to get even with some people in the boxing industry, and he's trying to live vicariously through this kid. So he's pushing him to do something that he knows it's not going to be accomplished. It's an interesting short film. It's still is being edited, so we'll see. When it comes out, I'll let everybody know. We'll hopefully see you on on the small red carpet at wherever
screening.
festival,
Great.
whatever screening. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't wait to see that.
Yeah.
Great. And for Genoveva Productions, as Gus mentioned, we have the play A Red Umbrella in the Crystal White Snow with Gus Ferrari and Candace Brown, another very talented actress. And then sometime later this year, I still have to figure out the dates. Gus and I are producing the Genoveva Theater Showcase, in which it's a festival, you can call it that, of short plays. I think it's going to be 6 or 7 plays. We are in the midst of trying to make the final selection. We're opening up the doors to support original works, other playwrights, and we cast, produce, direct, stage the plays in a performance venue, which I think will be one of the bigger theaters at the Producers Club. But again, we're in the middle of ironing out all the details, but that is definitely coming up this year, because we are a huge supporter of artists and original work. So we're really excited about that, because this is the first time we're doing something like in that magnitude, right, Gus? Like on a showcase
Yeah.
festival level. So I can't wait. I'm very, very excited about that.
Mm-hmm.
So on that note, wow, this is our last episode of season 1. Thank you, Paul and Mary, for spending time with Gus and I to talk about Elaine, for taking like a deep dive into the world of Elaine.
And thank you for being in it from the beginning, I think.
Oh my God, yes. And Alexis, we send you a big hug. We know that you wanted to be here, but you couldn't. So I hope you can come and check out the play Elaine. It is about family, forgiveness, growing up in an environment with substance abuse. However, there is a deeper meaning of like never giving up. It is dedicated to all the underdogs out there. I am one of them. It's just, you never know, like things get hard, but then you come back swinging. Okay. So,
Amen. Love it.
keep that energy, things get better. So it's just, don't lose hope, don't give up. That is kind of the message, I think, for all the characters. In a way, it's the message for Charles, for Vivian, for Elaine, even Ricardo too. I think there is a message of that. So we are opening at the Producers Club, the Royal Theater, August 22nd, 23rd, 24th. All the show date and times and location will be posted below. We hope to see you there. And if you're an underdog like me, like all of us, you may resonate with this play. So thank you so much. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you at rehearsals. and talk soon. This has been amazing. And we'll see you for season 2 of It's Gonna Get Artsy. Gus and I already have some new content. Now it's just scheduling the dates and things like that. We probably will come back sometime in September. So thank you all so much. If you love these episodes, please click the subscribe button so you'll be notified of our upcoming episodes. Thank you and talk soon.